Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. I am a self-published author and a small business owner, and I am on a mission to become debt-free and financially self-sufficient so that I can be more conscientious and generous and just a good steward of my money. So anyway, let's get into this budgeting video.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time.
Okay, so I was gonna budget today, and then I thought to myself, well, why don't I film it? Because I'm sorry, I have a stain on my sweatshirt from yesterday, so I'm just gonna do that. You don't need to know about it. You didn't see it. I didn't see it. It didn't happen. I decided, why don't I just do a video of it, because I know that budgeting and cash stuffing can be a little overwhelming if you're not familiar with it, or if you're new to it. It can feel just like there's a lot and you don't really know where to start. So I just thought I would go ahead and film the process of doing this, so that if there are any questions, hopefully this can answer them. And if you have more questions, you can always leave them in the comments and I will answer them. And just remember, I'm not an expert. Really, nobody is. We're all just doing whatever works for us. So take what from this video, what you want and what works for you, and forget the rest. So first of all, I apologize in advance for the aesthetic of this. I'm outside on my porch. If you've been following along, you know that I'm building an outdoor office right now because I work outside most of the time. But it gets cold. So I'm building an outdoor office. So for right now though, I'm working at our table on the deck. So I apologize for the aesthetic because it's a clear table, so you can totally see all the trash on the ground and stuff. And B, apologize for any noises you might hear. Dogs, people, cars, whatever. Just pretend it's not there. So yeah, let's go ahead and just do this. It's okay. So I'm gonna open up my binder. This binder is from my shop. The pages I'm going to be using are all from the Aesthetic Dollar. So yeah, this dashboard is from the Aesthetic Dollar, and I'm going to be using her budget binder. So if you don't follow her, you really should, because she's awesome. Love her. So the budgeting binder, I'm not going to go through all of the pages in it because right now I'm not currently using all of the pages in it. So we're just going to go over the pages that I am using. Okay, so I am currently on month 2 of using this particular binder, so we're going to be on month 2. So the way the budget binder is set up, she has these weekly wallet trackers, which I will come back to later. And then you have your monthly income and bills. If you're not using a budget binder that has printed out pages like this, totally fine. Use a notebook or a piece of printer paper or whatever. You could even type it out in your phone, actually. Basically, this is the setup that you really, really need, and that's, see the noise of the wind. I'm sorry if that's very distracting or loud. I'm hoping it's not too bad, but since I can't hear what you guys are hearing, the way it's coming through on the record or on the camera, I don't know. Anyway, sometimes life is crazy. We film it so people know that our life is crazy too. Okay, so you're gonna need your monthly income, your monthly bills, your variable expenses, and your sinking funds and cash planning. That's basically the gist of it. So I'm going to go ahead and start out. I'm going to be at a bit of an angle because I write very, very slanted. So I have a few different income types. I'm not going to write out the amount of money that I'm going to be making in the month of September, just because I like transparency, but I also like to respectfully keep just a little bit of my life private. So, okay, so this is how I personally do it. I get paid monthly for what I make when I sell books. So that's what this is, KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing. I do some cleaning on the side. I have another side hustle. And then also, on top of the incomes that I'm going to be writing down, I also will write down how much is left over in my checking account. Just in case, sometimes there's extra money in there because I transferred money or I got paid something I wasn't expecting or what have you. Or there'll be less in there than I thought there would be. So I also like to add my checking account, whatever's left in my checking account, to this list, and then add that all up so I know exactly how much money I have. And then I'll explain everything else here in a second, but I'm going to write those down real quick. Okay, so now I have written down all of my incomes. So all of these, I went on my checking account. I figured out how much was on there, and then I also have money in here. I just did my online spending for the month, so I made sure I had taken out all of the money from my cash envelopes to take back to the banks. Like when I make online purchases, that money comes out of my cash envelope. Like it's cash that comes out of a category. And so I'll go through and I'll show that page here in a few minutes. And I take that cash out of the envelopes and I take it back to the bank. So I have money that's going back to the bank. So I made sure to add that into my checking account so that I know how much money's in my checking account, what I'm working with, and now I can plan for the month. So I have my monthly bills. I just copy and paste basically my monthly bills from last month to this month. And I changed this. She has the amount you planned to put towards your bill and the actual amount. Instead, I changed this to date because for me, I get paid. So my KDP is once a month, but both of these other ones, the cleaning and the other side hustle, I get paid in the middle of the month versus the end. So I get paid at different times. So it matters when I budget whether or not I have money for the specific dates that those bills come out, if that makes sense. So I do keep track of the date just to make sure, like, okay, if the bulk of my bills come out in the first half of the month, but I get paid the majority, like let's say my side hustle comes out in the middle of the month, or I get paid it in the middle of the month, and it's my biggest paycheck, but I had the most bills at the beginning of the month, I'm gonna have to like kind of make sure that I leave enough money in the bank for that first half of the month to pay those bills. Hopefully that makes some kind of sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and write these down real quick. Okay, so I'm not gonna show all of them, but basically I write down whatever the thing is, the date that it comes out, and the amount that it costs. And I do this for subscriptions as well. Anything that comes out the same date every month, the same amount every month, I write in my monthly bill section. So now that I have both my income and my monthly bills written down, I'm going to go to variable expenses. Variable expenses are going to be things that come out regularly, but might be a different amount each month or might come out on different days each month, depending on your situation. So for one thing, for me, I do therapy sessions every month, so I go to therapy twice a month. So that's something that it's different every month depending on how many sessions I have, because some months there's 5 weeks instead of 4, or some months maybe I only had one session because we couldn't find a day that worked for the second one or whatever. So it's going to be different every month, which is why it's a variable expense, because it's not the same. By the way, this is not a part of this. I just ran out of space to write my categories. So that's why these are over here. They're not actually a part of the variable expense situation. So just want to clarify that. I also, taxes. So since I'm self-employed, I have to set aside money to pay taxes, when April comes around. So instead of putting it in an envelope, I just move it to a savings account, but I write down what that amount is going to be here, and then I will highlight it once I have actually done it and taken the money and put it in my savings account. So that's another one that's different every month depending on how much money I made. Tithes. It's going to be different every month depending on how much money I made. 10% of $100 is a lot different than 10% of $1,000. So that one's always going to be different. And then the last one that I always do is buffer. So for a buffer, I've been doing $100 in my buffer. I would like to do $50 more every month until I get to $1,000 of a buffer would be really lovely. So a buffer is basically when you spend money online, and that money is supposed to come out of your cash envelopes, you're taking that money initially when you make the online purchase, it's coming out of your debit card. It's coming out of your checking account. So the buffer is to make sure that there will be enough money in your bank account to make that purchase online until you can take the cash out of the envelope back to the bank. So the buffer is to kind of cover your backside until you can get the cash in the bank. So right now, I have a $100 buffer. I'd like to make it $150 this month and then keep going up at $50 a month until I get to $1,000. But yeah, I started off with 50, then I went to 75 and then 100. And I'd like to do 150 this month if possible. I'm going to go ahead and write what these are for me though this month, and then we will keep going. Okay, so I just took the page out of the binder. So I wrote down the amounts for each of these and then added them up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my total income and I'm going to subtract the amount that I added up for my bills. in the amount that I added up here. And whatever's left over is what we're going to budget with in our envelope category. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract the bills and the variable expenses to see what I have left to budget with for my sinking funds. Okay, so 2,115, doesn't even look like a 5, is what I have left to budget with. So I have my sinking funds. I already wrote out all of my envelope categories. If you're wondering how you decide which categories to make envelopes for, there are a couple ways to do it. There's usually ones that everyone needs, like eating out, spending, household, groceries. You can, what I would recommend is watch other people's cash stuffing videos, watch a few different people, and just kind of like make note and see, are there any categories that stick out to you and you go, ooh, I would definitely use that, and write them down like in your phone or on a notebook. And then also you can go through your bank statement and see like what things do I regularly spend money on, and that will kind of give you a rough idea. And honestly, it's one of those things where it's like you can just start with a few and then just add them as you think of them. Like I've realized that I didn't even add it in here, but I do need a going out envelope for like going to the movies or like going to the fair or like specific activity type things, and I hadn't really thought about it. And so you'll realize things, you'll see the gap as you're cash planning sometimes, or you're spending money and you go, ooh, I need a category for that. So it's a trial and error thing. Don't feel like you have to get it right on the first try. You're always going to be changing things. So yeah, anyway. So now we have $2,115 to cash stuff. So I'm going to decide what to put in my sinking funds, but I'm also going to do savings challenges. So I'm going to pull out my savings challenge binder and look through my savings challenges to make sure that I'm covering all of them that I need to on here. So like my book cover is going to cost me $290 in total, including tips. So I have 50, 55, 56, 57, 58 saved up so far, and I'm gonna need to be able to pay all of that this month because they're like halfway done with it. So I'm gonna need to put in 232 on my cover because I ended up deciding to redesign an old cover, which was not the initial plan. So I thought I had more time to save up in this envelope, and turns out that I don't, and that's just life. So you got to learn to be flexible. So that's what we're gonna do. I made a new tracker for my debt. I need to save $1.3 thousand to pay off my debt, and so I made these little trackers instead of doing the other one that I was doing. So I'm gonna go based on this for what I'm saving on debt this month. 45 plus 30 plus 20 plus 15, so we're going to save 110 towards debt. And then I have 38 coming out automatically that I probably just should have put in my bills, but I didn't, so whatever. Oh, the emergency fund. So $1,000 emergency fund. I'm also going to start working on every month instead of just like occasionally putting in a few bucks here and there. And I also made envelopes for that, but I don't have them out here, so I'm just going to look at my online at my page. So for September, so 110 will also go into my emergency fund. And then, so we are going to be going, we've decided that we're going to go on a trip for my 30th birthday coming up this year. So I want to start saving up for it. Okay, so I'm going to see if this makes sense. Financially for me this month. We might do less than this, but for now I'm going to put it down there. So $295 this month to start saving toward it. I've like designed saving challenges. I haven't printed them out yet, but that's how much I will be putting in. Business, I did take money out last time and I owe myself money. So it looks like I owe myself 100. How much do I have in business? Oops, wrong envelope. Which I really need to just like be done with this envelope really, really soon. I have a 20 in there. What the heck? I don't know if I can afford to put 200 in, because right now it's just probably going to end up being tight. I might put, because we're just a little bit, things are a little tight at the moment. I think I'm just gonna save 200 towards the trip right now. And then business, I think I'll do 150. So that's the 100 that I actually took out, and then the 50 that I'm paying back. And then I also just remembered I'm going on a trip this month, and my friend booked the Airbnb, and I owe her the other half. So I also need to subtract $300 from this. So I actually have 1,815. That seemed too good to be too true. And it turns out that it was. Okay, so all in all in savings challenges, I will be saving I'm going to be doing $840 in savings challenges, which means minus 840 975. Why does that seem wrong? Nope, that's 975. Okay. So now I have 975 left to spend. And I went through my envelopes and I wrote down, a lot of these envelopes are completely empty right now. I wrote down what amounts I had in them at the moment. So I do know I'm getting my hair done this month. Like actually like next week. How much is my hair? I don't remember. Okay, so my cut will be 75 and I have 20. So I will need, I'm trying to think. I'm gonna end up giving her a tip too, so I'll need 65. So that's just kind of non-negotiable because I will need to have enough money. So I'll take that off of my total. So now I have 910 left to budget with. I know I'm gonna need to be buying some beauty products, shampoo and stuff like that. Everything always seems to fall in the same time. I swear. It's not like I ever like run out of stuff at different time frames. I'm gonna see if 40 would work and just write it down and we'll see what that ends up looking like. Oh, yearly bills. I have some coming up that I really need to be prepared for. So in October, and I just did this earlier today. Oh no, it bent. Okay, so I just did these this morning and printed them out. I put the thing on the wrong side on that side. So I don't have any yearly bills coming out in September, but I know I do in October. So I have my domain and my website are coming out in October. So I probably don't want to leave my entire website charge all at once. I'd rather save half of it now and half of it later. So that'll be what, 150, 165. So like 170. So minus 170, which leaves us with 700 to spend, or to save, I guess. I'm trying to like think of things that I know are really, really important to save for. Christmas, I have 90 right now. I would love to save at least 100 this month. I'm gonna write it down. And the thing is, just keep a thing of white out. Daisy May, you are so loud. Just keep a thing of white out next to you, and you can always just scratch it out if you realize that that's actually not gonna work. So that leaves me 600. I feel like I did something wrong. Like it seems like I shouldn't have that much left to budget, but I guess I do. Okay. What other holidays are coming up? Black Friday, I have 35. It'd be nice to have 100. I mean, we still have October to save through too. Maybe I'll put a 50 in Black Friday, just because like if there's deals or anything, and then if I don't use it for Black Friday deals, I just roll it over into Christmas. So that leaves me with 550 to save. Okay. And by the way, your priorities are going to be different than mine. I don't have the same priorities as a mom with 4 kids, or a single dad, or, you know, maybe you. So don't judge me based on what I am prioritizing, and also don't judge yourself. Like whatever's important to you is important to you, and that's okay. So just figure out what things are the most important to you, save for those, and everything else save for if you can. That's just, sometimes we can't save in everything. Oh, I am traveling next month. So I do need to I should double check it now. to make sure. I'm not sure how much bags are gonna cost, because I would like to travel with just a carry-on, but I've never been able to do that in my entire life. So okay, so it's not as bad as I thought. I thought it'd be way more expensive than that. So it's $35 each way. Yeah, are you done barking now? Did you bark at the big bad man? You gonna smell it? Does it smell weird? That's a smell. You know what this is? The mail guy just came and delivered this giant, you can't even tell how big it is. It's ginormous package from Aftercolor, which is my favorite clothing shop. They do hand screen printed, so that's where like they put the goop on, and they like through the screen, you know what I'm saying, to print it on the t-shirts rather than iron on press. So it's like all by hand, super cool. Taylor Swift inspired stuff, Harry Potter inspired stuff, and I'm just like, yeah. So yeah, I ordered a bunch of things from their fall launch. So I'm now cut off because I spent a lot of money. So anyway, back to this. Yeah, so $70 in travel for bags. We have $480 left. I think I'm gonna put 30 in medical. I need to have something done at some point, but it's very, very low priority. I'm not super concerned at the moment. Oh, kindness. I'm gonna put a 50 in kindness because this month I went over. Something that, if you didn't know, you can actually do this. If you know someone's address, so you can go on DoorDash, put in their address, and have an item delivered, like a food item delivered to their house as a gift, which I have done a couple of times now, and it's actually really cool because then when they get home, they have like food waiting for them. Although for whatever reason, they have not been like sending them an email that it's a gift, so then I had to text them and be like, did you get food? And they're like, was that from you? Oh, thank God, I thought it was from a creep. So anyway, that's a fun one. So I tend to spend way too much in kindness. Plus, I know it's a few people's birthday this month, so definitely gonna need that. Did I just subtract that? I did. So I have 400 now. I would really like to buy one more sweatshirt, particularly from the Aftercolor, that shop that I was just talking about. They're doing another launch for back to school, like Harry Potter back to school, like back to Hogwarts. And so I would like to buy one more sweatshirt because the sweatshirts I got, which I'm wearing one of them, I absolutely love, but I want one that's like even bigger, like hangs almost like a dress. So I think I'm just gonna allow myself one sweatshirt, so which I think is gonna be probably about 50. I should probably check that. So it's 40, so I think about 50 is probably what's gonna cost. So I'm gonna go ahead and put 50 there. Okay, because honestly, like, it's literally what I wear every single day of my life. So, and I don't have that many sweatshirts that are like not 10 years old. So I'm slowly restocking my wardrobe. Plus t-shirts, I've realized, are a big thing for me. Oversized t-shirts and regular t-shirts. So I'm also stocking those up. But one purchase this month should be okay. Oh, that's what I was gonna say though. Since I'm going somewhere, I should probably have some money set aside for eating out, because I'm gonna be going on a trip next weekend, and then I'm also going on a trip not the weekend after that, but the next weekend, and then the weekend after that also. So I'm going on 3 trips this month. So I'm gonna need eating out money quite a bit. So I don't know what would be enough. I would say 80 should be fine. Dear Lord, that's so much money in eating out, but I'm literally gonna be in 3 different places over the course of this month. It's gonna be busy. Okay, groceries. I'm definitely gonna need some groceries. Honestly, I might just set aside that whole 70 right there, because it's 270 is what I have left right now. So I might just put that whole 70 in here. Okay, so that leaves me with 200. I definitely need to put some money in spending, which I know you could say like that counts as spending, but it doesn't. I have dogs, miscellaneous home. Oh shoot, renovations. I completely forgot about renovations. Oh my God. I'm building my greenhouse still, and I need to set aside money to buy the rest of the stuff for the rest of the greenhouse. I'm gonna go hop over and check my notebook that has all that written down is inside, so I'm gonna go check it real quick. Insane. Why? This is paper. Paper. You don't eat paper. This should not need to be said. My Lanta. So I need $95 in order to finish the outdoor office enough that I can move into it. In case, because in September I'm sure some of the bad weather is going to start. So I need $95, which leaves me only $55 left, which is not as much as I was hoping for. I think I'm actually going to make groceries 50. Which brings us up to $75 left. See, this is the back and forth that you go through trying to figure out what you can afford and what you can't, and what makes sense and what doesn't. Because I do need to put some money in dogs, which only has 20 right now. So dogs, I need to put some in. I'd like to keep some miscellaneous if possible. I would like to stuff business if I can, just because there might be a few things I need to buy here and there, but generally when I stuff business, I just like take it out of whatever like I've made on my shop sales. So I probably won't worry about business at the moment. Well, if I split it between dogs and miscellaneous, and I put maybe 25 in miscellaneous, just because I'm sure there's going to be something I didn't think about. Also, going out, forgot to plan it, whatever. And probably a 50 in dogs. My dogs are kind of expensive. I just want to make sure that all makes sense. I should have put something in going out, but honestly, it can come out of miscellaneous if I need to. Or maybe I'll put a 10 in miscellaneous and 15 in going out, just in case like we go to the movies or something. You never know. Okay, so let's add all of this up. 50, 40. Okay, so that's $975 total. $975 total. So if I take I'm gonna go through the entire thing. Going back to my income, I'm gonna subtract my monthly bills, my variable expenses, and then I'm gonna subtract my savings challenges and my sinking funds and see if we balance out at zero. Hopefully we will. Boom, boom, equals zero. Boom, that's how we do it. Okay, so oh my gosh, that makes me so freaking happy. I guess I should have said you could use this debt this debt page, this debt part where you write down your debt. Like if you have a credit card debt or something, you write down the card and all that. And I have done that for like the monthly bill or whatever, just to see where I'm at. But since I'm doing a savings challenge, I've kind of just been keeping it up here. I should have clarified that. But anyway, so now I've officially done all of my envelope planning and everything, and now we have cash planning. So this is where the categories that I'm actually going to be stuffing cash into, both in savings challenges and envelopes, I'm going to be deciding which bills I'm going to take out, which will tell me how much money to take out of the bank when I get there. So I'm taking out of apparel. So you may be thinking like, okay, your budget is kind of tight. Why are you putting $50 into your spending envelope? And that's because I've explained this before, but I'll explain it real quick for the sake of this being a budgeting video all about budgeting. I have in the past decided that I was not going to spend a single dollar on myself for anything other than like a grocery or like soap for months and months and months and months. It was the most miserable experience. And then what happened was that I would go, it's basically like binge dieting. I would get so sick of not being allowed to spend any money on myself for things that were just like fun, that I would then get so sick of it that months down the road, I would just go into debt spending money on my credit card because I hadn't been allowed to spend anything for so long. It's the same thing with dieting. When you cut something out of your life to the point where you're not allowed to have anything you enjoy, then you get to a breaking point where you can't handle it anymore, and then you just eat everything. And so this is me allowing myself the Oreo, to have the small treat so that I don't go crazy. So I recommend everybody having if you can't afford $50 a month and that's where you're at, that's fine. But just allowing yourself some money to spend every month, because it's so important emotionally, honestly. So now it's time to decide what bills I want in each envelope. And so for like some of these, like my debt envelope, I'm just going to put, whatever bills are going to make the envelopes the least amount of full. So the 100 and the $10 fine. Same with business. The 1 and the 50 is fine. And with cover, even though this will be an online purchase, I'm still going to put it in the envelope because I don't know when I will actually like pay it, because I don't know when they'll be done with it. So I don't want to put that money in the bank and then it somehow gets used up, and becomes like misused money. So instead, I will just take it out so that I can be certain of where it's going. And same with like the trip, I'll just take 200s out, and with the emergency fund, I will just take the 100 and the 10. But some of these, and like the Christmas, I have a long time before I'm going to spend any of that anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it. But some of these I will actually want to choose based on what's a smaller bill. So my hair, I will just do like that, and I'm going to do cash because that way I can keep track where the money is, like I said. And then Reno, I'm just going to do it in big cash bill because I'm not going to buy any of that online. I'm just going to buy it in the store, so it's just easier to use the bigger bills like that. But some of these I might want to do smaller bills, like miscellaneous. I might do 2 5s so that if I need to, when I'm like paying myself back for online purchases, it's easier if I can make change for myself. So I'll do that. Did I skip one? Black Friday? I did. So we'll just do a 50 in Black Friday. Going out, we'll just do the 10 and the 5. Dogs, I'll do 2 20s and a 10 just because I might be buying some stuff online for them for winter. Yearly bills, I'll just do 100, 50 and a 20. Travel, I'll do a 50 and a 20. Spending, I'll probably do, I like to have kind of variety, so I'll probably do a 20, 2 10s, and 2 5s, right? 20, 30, 40, 45, 50. Yeah, that way, if I make some small purchases online or whatever, it's just easy to pay myself back. Medical, I'll just do a 20 and a 10 because that's not going anywhere right now. Kindness, let's do maybe 3 10s and 4 5s. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. Okay. 3 10s, 4 5s. Groceries, we'll do probably the same thing I did with spending, where I did, what did I do? 120, 2 10s, and 2 5s. Eating out, probably do mostly 10s and 5s because I don't imagine that I'm actually going to use a 20. Maybe if I did 4 10s or 5 10s, we'll say 5 10s, so that's 50. So we'll do 6 5s, or 5 5s, and 5 1s, right? Is that mathing? Plus 5. Yes, okay, that makes sense. Because sometimes like we go through a drive-through or I get Little Caesars, so I'm mostly gonna be doing smaller purchases, and even if I go to like Olive Garden or whatever, I could just use 10s and 5s or whatever. So beauty, I'll probably do a 20 and 2 10s, and then apparel, I'll probably do 2 20s and a 10. So let me add all that up and make sure it makes sense. So we're going to do well, I will be cash stuffing $1,777. And so now what I do is I have the teller slip from the Aesthetic Dollar, and I will just go through and write down the quantities. So I need 900s, 6 50s, 12 20s, 24 10s, 18 5s, and 7 1s, which equals $7, $90. So what I will do is I will take this and my bank bag, and I will go to the bank, and I will give this to the bank teller. I go inside to do it. What you can do is you can get the exact amount of money you want out of the ATM. This is what some people do. and then go through the drive-through to the hydraulic tubey thingy, and you put your bank slip in with the cash, and your card, and they will do it that way. But I just go inside to the bank. It's not that big a deal. I've gotten pretty used to it. I didn't like doing it at first, but now I'm very used to it, so it doesn't really bother me. So I go into the bank, give them this with my card, and they will get the cash for you. It's really not a big deal. The only thing is that sometimes when I give them this, they'll comment, be like, "The aesthetic dollar, what is that?" And they'll ask questions, and sometimes I'm not a fan of that. I don't want you to ask me questions. I'm like, yeah, I don't love that, but whatever. So anyway, now I'm ready to go to the bank, get out my cash, and then when I do my cash stuffing, I will refer to this page, and that will tell me what cash goes into which envelopes, including my savings challenges. That way I know where everything goes, and it's really easy to keep track of. And when it comes to my wallet, what I do is I will just take, I'll first stuff all of my categories into all of my envelopes, and then as far as my wallet goes, because my wallet has duplicate envelopes, my wallet has like a beauty envelope, an eating out envelope, groceries, that kind of stuff in it. I will just take money out of these envelopes. Once they're stuffed, I'll take money out of these envelopes to stuff my wallet, what I think I'll actually need on hand in my wallet. But because I work from home and stuff, I don't generally need a ton of money on hand in my wallet. You could use these weekly wallet trackers if you would like to like plan out and stuff separately for your wallet. It depends on you and what makes sense to you. And if this feels overly complicated, simplify it. Don't think about the wallet thing. Just stuff your categories, stuff your envelopes, take care of your bills and your debt, your savings challenges, and then just stuff your wallet with whatever you have in your envelopes. Make it as simple as you can for yourself, and the best thing you can do is be consistent. Be consistent, stay at it. I highly recommend videotaping yourself. Like, if you are comfortable with it, make a YouTube channel. You don't even have to advertise it if you're not comfortable having like a ton of people watch you. You could just like not advertise it, not make it a thing, but you just like videotape yourself doing your cash stuffing as a way to hold yourself accountable to doing it every month. And then I usually halfway through the month, I will come to this page, which is online spending. I'll go through my bank account and I will write down every purchase I have made since the beginning of the month, that was online, so via my debit card. And I will write them all, because I don't have any credit cards. And I will write them all down, the category, like the envelope they're going to come out of. And then once I've taken the money out of the envelope and put it in my back to the bank envelope, I'll check it off. And I do that on the 15th of every month, so the middle of the month, so I can like make sure that I'm on top of it, because you don't want to, you're at the end, the last couple of weeks in the month, and you have $50 in an envelope. So you're thinking you have $50 to spend, but really you spent 35 of it online. You just haven't taken it out yet. So I like to do it twice a month. So I do it in the middle of the month, and then I'll do it again at the end of the month to make sure that everything that I've spent online is accounted for. I will say Amazon, when it shows up on your bank account, it just shows up as like an Amazon purchase, but it doesn't say what it was. So I don't know what category it comes out of. So I go to my Amazon account, and you can click on your orders, and it'll show you each purchase with how much it cost, and that's where I get those on. But anyway, that's what I do for online spending. But yeah, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I want to be as helpful as I can. I am not an expert at all, but it's been really helpful to do this process. I've been doing it since November, and my income has gone up quite a bit in the last couple of months. But even before that, when it wasn't going up, it was still in my control versus money controlling me. And I still felt like, even I think the hardest part with the smaller budget is that I've never really been able to like grow a sinking fund to where it's got lots of money in it, because I'm only really able to save month to month what I'm actually going to spend that month, because I'm on such a low income right now. And it's been that way from the beginning of me doing cash stuffing, which makes it a little bit less fun, let's be honest. But it does mean that I'm aware of where all my money's going. I know where every dollar is being spent. I'm able to save for things like I'm going to go on a trip to Hawaii for my birthday, my 30th birthday. The reason I'm going to be able to afford it is because I'm doing a savings challenge where it breaks apart the cost over the span of however much time I want it to span. And I can just save up gradually every month until that actual trip comes around, and then boom, I'm ready for it, rather than it being this all of a sudden out of nowhere purchase that I'm like, oh, I didn't save for that, So it's just, Those kinds of things are possible in a way that they wouldn't have been without this process. And like, I'm now saving for an emergency fund. I would have never been able to do that before because I would have thought, well, I don't have $1,000. No, but you have 50, so you could save 50 this month and 50 next month, and it might take a while, but you'll get there. It's a really cool thing to see your finances, although they may not grow to the degree you want them to or the speed you want them to see them to become something that you're so intentional about, to feel like you're actually finally becoming a good steward of all of these gifts that God has given. And that's really, really, really cool. And I'm very, very proud of how much progress I've made, not necessarily with like my income, but just with like the way I treat money. And I think that's such a powerful thing. So I just want to say, if you're somebody who you make $400 a month, you can budget $400 a month. Write down your income, subtract your monthly bills, subtract your variable expenses, those things that kind of shift from month to month, like ties, and then make, even if it's just 5 envelopes, like that's all you spend in is 5 categories, make a few envelopes. I'm telling you, the envelope aspect of this is a very important thing. Not just the budget, but the envelopes, because it's when it's cash, it's not intangible. It has to be physically taken out of the envelope in order to be able to spend it. And so you have to be so much more honest with yourself. It's like the difference between, you want to lose weight, but you don't want to weigh every week. And so you kind of just like go based off of how you feel. But then 6 months later, you weigh yourself and you're like, wait, I gained 10 pounds. Versus when you weigh every week, it's not always fun, but it means that you're always aware of where you are in your progress. And so it's a really powerful thing. I'm just saying, if you have $400 a month, do this. If you have $40,000 a month, I don't think anybody ever has that much. But if you have $4,000 a month or $10,000 a month, you can still benefit from this system, because it's not about necessarily just being able to pay off debt. Maybe you don't have debt, or maybe you're someone who you're like, well, I don't really worry about money because we're making enough that we don't really need to worry bill to bill, everything's covered. But think about all the money that's being wasted on things that you don't even realize you're spending on, subscriptions that you don't actually want, but you don't even realize are being taken out every month, or things that you're buying that you don't want or need, but they're just kind of happening. They're just kind of almost subconscious spending things. Think about what you could do with that money. You know, your kids' college, or trips you could be taking, or things you could be doing for your neighbor, or just things that you could be contributing either with your own life or with other people's lives. It's just, I think people underestimate the power of this. Like, they either think they don't have enough money to do it, or they have too much money to do it. And that's, both of those things are completely untrue. This is always a beneficial system. I'm not saying that because of like selling you anything. I really, really believe in this system. So no matter where you get your cash envelopes from, no matter where you get your budgeting tools from, does not matter. None of that matters. All that matters is that you're actually sitting down to do this system, because I promise you'll benefit. So that being said, I hope I covered everything that needed to be covered. Again, if you have questions and I left something out, please let me know. And yeah, take what works for you from this, and then leave behind the rest that doesn't work for you, because everyone's going to be a little bit different on how they treat the system. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe. Oh, that stupid spot on my sweatshirt. Like, subscribe, and thank you for like hanging around with this like messy craziness. And I'll see you next time.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see.